Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Colin Cowherd podcast, all of our NFL instant reactions, and more football content.
All right, so there's a couple of stories on Bill Belichick yesterday after our show. One story says, and there are those disputing it, is that North Carolina and Belichick are already working on a buyout. So the person who's stating that isn't a big name, doesn't work at a big company. I don't know how realistic it is, but I thought about this yesterday when I heard it. If I said, give me 4 or 5 words that explain the NFL, you'd say shield, corporate, professional, business, kind of cutthroat. If I said 5 or 6 words that explain college football, pageantry, bands, alumni, donors, fun, which one does it sound like Bill Belichick would fit in? I've thought this from the beginning. I thought it was a bit of a money grab. He showed no interest in college football. None. I mean, look at his drafts the last 7 years in New England. He clearly doesn't watch the sport until he has to at the Senior Bowl. But he's a do-your-job, bottom-line guy, and that's what not college football's not. College football, when you win, sometimes you got to dance with the players. It's not about culture. Sometimes you got to dance with the players. You can look at Nick Saban and go, oh, he's harsh. Nick Saban's charming and can be funny. You watch him on television. Nick's great. He's funny. He's charming. He's a great storyteller. I mean, the whole thing has felt weird. Like the Jordan Hudson relationship doesn't bother me. To each their own. But I mean, she's kind of the age of some of the players, maybe. To parents, administrators, there's an ick factor. And recently, Carolina had a bye. Bill goes to Nantucket with his girlfriend. That's not what Dan Lanning's doing. He's on the phone to recruits. Nick Saban, the day after winning a national championship, is on the recruiting trail. So you got to be totally committed to college football, and it's a different vibe totally. Sometimes you got to dance with the players. And Mike Lombardi, the GM, he's not your warm uncle. You know, that's just not his personality, and that's okay. Bill's a pro guy. Mike's a pro guy. That's who they are. So I think a lot of times, I talk about this all the time, fit happens, right? And fit matters. And, you know, he comes out with a book and Chapel Bill, and Bill had bills. The NFL said no thanks, and Bill's got bills to pay. He's got the Florida house, the Nantucket place, and the boats, and the lifestyle, and he's not flying Southwest Airlines. And Bill's like, oh, I'll take it. But from the very beginning, I was suspicious about the buyout. Didn't you guys think that was crazy? Bill and his agent negotiated a very, very small buyout, meaning if Bill got a job within a year, he could leave. Buyout's nothing. So I don't know which story is true. It's not going well. It's going sideways. It's circling the drain. But to be great in college football, it's a lot of things. And it's sometimes it is connective tissue with players and parents. And I said when Bill got this job, I said, do you really think Bill's going to be going to volleyball matches cheering on that? Well, that's what you got to do in college. Sometimes you got to go watch the softball team and go drop by the volleyball coach's office and call and deal with parents and say hi to the administrators. Let's go grab a cocktail tonight. That's part of college football. College football is more fun than the NFL. The NFL is just better coaching, more professional, better quarterback play. It's professional sports, which is always better than college sports. And, you know, it's just run better. Big cities, big brands, a lot of money. But college football is awesome. But it's a bit more joyful and fun. Do those 2 words sound like Bill Belichick? So we'll keep you updated on that story. Some are disputing that the buyout's happening. I don't have any insight to North Carolina football. I was actually at a place last night. I'm not going to give you the specifics. But first person I saw is a big Carolina, I would just say, supporter. He's a business person I know, very sharp, former player. And he was on the field against Clemson. I said, what was it like? He said, we were beat before that thing started. No energy, no juice. College football is about running out of the tunnel. Miami, the smoke's coming out, the fight song, the rockin' Clemson. I mean, coming out of the tunnel is a big deal in college football. no juice, no energy. And at this point, no shot in Carolina for Belichick. We bring in Chris Simms on the show pretty regularly. And then there's Matt Simms. He's working at the other place. But you know who I relate to is Phill Simms, because now we're both at the age where we wake up and we go to the pill closet and the vitamin closet. And Phill Simms, host of Simms Complete on the Believe Network, is joining us. 15 years. We just talked about NAD, magnesium, and omega-3 pills during the break. And I've never felt better about my decisions. You and I do the same life. I just golf a little more than you.
I mean, we were talking like two old guys sitting there going, hey, I take this in the morning and that. And I'm going to just tell everybody out there, whatever I'm taking, it's working. Okay. Because I feel good and I sleep great.
There you go. Same thing. So 15 quarterbacks right now have 100+ passer rating. 2 years ago, it was 6. Now, some of it, Phil, is because I think there's a lot more good offensive coaching. There's a lot of sharp young guys out there. And I also think everybody plays zone, so it's a little throw to a spot. You lived in a world where it was man-to-man coverage. Now it's zone, and you just throw to a spot, and a lot of these young guys are strong and throw to a spot. But when you look at your era and this era of quarterback play, do you see a gap? I mean, does it feel easier today with some of the rule changes?
Well, I think, the first thing you say, throw it to a spot. Everybody's playing zone, and they want to keep their eyes on the quarterback in the backfield to stop the big runs down the field. And if you play zone in the NFL against the quarterbacks that we're seeing out there now, you say 15, I would probably say more. They're gonna pick you apart. And that's what defenses want. We're going to let you complete the passes, but we're going to run up, tackle you, and you have to go with long drives, sustain a lot of plays to score. That's what you see. And these quarterbacks, they just keep getting better every year. And to answer your question, Colin, my era that I played in, I don't know what to say. This whole group that plays now, they are remarkably different and better than what we put on the field, I think, most of the time.
So, I love watching the old films with you and Parcells, and it's just that confrontational stuff. It's funny. It writes itself. But Philadelphia right now is having an identity crisis. They don't know what they are. Back with Parcells, did you guys even use the word identity? Or is that one of those words like narrative that everybody uses? Or did you just listen, this every week was a different game plan? Or did Bill believe in, hey, this is what we are. This is what we're always going to be. We're not going to deviate, because Philadelphia right now doesn't know what the hell they are. They're a run team, and they can't figure it out. Again, go back to your 6 years, Giants, Super Bowls, dominant team. Was identity discussed?
Never. I don't know. Hell. These player-only meetings, I will say this. We did a couple of them. I hated them. I didn't pay attention. I'm like, please, get it over with. Let's get out of here. Because the guy that set the table, the guy that walked in there every day, Bill Parcells, that was the players' meeting. And, okay, whatever he said, we didn't have to have a players' meeting because he was going to take care of it himself. And he knew when to do that. And so when I see the players doing it, then I go, okay, I believe it works for them if that's what it is. But I would prefer Nick Sirianni getting in front of the team and going, hey, all right, enough of this. Let's do this. We're going to move on. And if you don't want to be part of it, good. I'll get somebody else and let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh almighty, you've won so many games. What is it, 20 out of 21? And here we are having players meetings and things like that. It's just Philadelphia. It's different. That's for sure.
So there are quarterbacks and coaching relationships. The creative gene of Andy Reid and Mahomes is such a good fit because Mahomes is a creative type. And then there are sometimes it just works, despite the fact that the coach and the quarterback may not see eye to eye. I think Big Ben and Tomlin, it just worked because Big Ben was so damn talented. But I look at Shanahan, and outside of Trey Lance, I mean, Kyle Schaub was a Pro Bowler. He won with Brian Hoyer. Mac Jones was done. Mac Jones now is unbelievable. So when you look at Kyle Shanahan, what did I say, Ryan? What name did I screw up? Matt Schaub.
Matt Schaub, yes.
When you look at Kyle Shanahan, he virtually takes every quarterback he's had. Garoppolo has disappeared since he left. What's the secret sauce? What do you think he does? The language he speaks, the touch, the feel he has. What is it with Kyle? Because I'd argue today, Phil, no coach is winning with less. They have 60% of their starters. Their playmakers are all hurt.
Yes. Hey, it comes down to this. You talk about Mac Jones. People ask me, hey, whatever, all this, how'd he play? I said, yeah, Kyle Shanahan gave him the Mac Jones offense. That's what he did. Who's my quarterback? I'm going to adapt to him and call and design plays that fit him. And everything they did in that game against the Los Angeles Rams, it was right out of the book. Hey, Mac Jones, especially, he's a big guy, can stand in there. He can get rid of the football quick. He's a good decision maker. Everything that's good for him, Kyle Shanahan put into that game plan. If it had been Brock Purdy playing that game, we'd have seen some rollouts, deeper drops, moving, and many more throws deep down the field probably. But that's the one thing about Kyle. You can go through all the quarterbacks that he's had, and when they get a chance to play, basically they all play well. So that's not luck. That's him designing plays and knowing how to call them.
So I made this argument earlier that I'm okay. Many of our great quarterbacks have been a little reckless at times. Now Aaron Rodgers was one of the first where you got the upside without the interceptions. But right. Namath and Elway and Peyton threw a lot of picks, and Eli did.
So did I.
Yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield has the most turnover-worthy plays so far in the league, according to PFF. And my take is, well, that's Baker's style. He plays through his chest. He's a big emotion guy. I think if you try to change Baker, you lose who Baker is. What do you make of him as a quarterback?
Well, first off, they're not trying to change him down in Tampa Bay. I watch his games because I enjoy him and because he is a fun watch. And let me tell you, he is an elite thrower of the football. He throws that damn thing exactly where he wants it to go. And his decision-making is pretty good, but I like the fact that he's aggressive because he can be. I'll tell you a quick story that just personifies who Baker Mayfield is. Somebody asked Todd Bowles, how would you describe Baker Mayfield? And Todd Bowles took a quick second break and he goes, I would say, Baker, will you walk across the room there and stick your face in the fan? He would do it. And that's who he is. He's just tough as hell, resilient, can really throw the football, and he's great for the team because he doesn't eat up a lot of space about Baker like some quarterbacks do with their teams. He's part of the group. The players love him. And Tampa Bay, whatever he's doing, I would say just keep doing it because it's going well.
All right, let's get a little update. Your thoughts on Jackson Dart, the new Giants guy. He's got the look. He's kind of cool looking. He's got a decent arm. What do you make of what you've seen so far?
Yeah, he is cool. I got to admit, I was down at training camp a lot. I watched him every day, really close. Not every day, but almost. And he didn't have bad days. He threw the ball well. And I think the one thing that I made a mistake on until I found it late, right before the draft, I was watching more of his tapes and everything to see what I really thought about him. And all of a sudden I went, wow, I have underestimated his mobility. And his mobility has been a big part of these first two games. And what I like about it is he's reading the defense, whatever, trying to throw it. But if the gap is open in front of him, it's straight down the middle every time. And he's been really good at that. They had a chance to beat the New Orleans Saints. I thought they were the better team. But the mistakes, that's what you're going to get with a young quarterback. You don't pull him back too much. You just kind of go, all right, settle down a little bit, but you want to keep being aggressive because being aggressive gives you a chance to be a really good quarterback too.
So when you were with the Giants, so was Bill Belichick, and I know he was on the defensive side. I never thought he was a college football guy. I think college football is a little more joyful. The bands, the alumni, the parents. Bill's a pro guy to me. I never got it. Are you surprised it's been this big of a kind of a mess so far?
Well, I think we were together 13 years with the Giants. He came in 79, I think the same year I did. But I listen, I'm very surprised. I thought he would go down there and kind of show college football there's a little different way to do this. Well, he did it a different way, but it's not working. And hey, look, you don't spend 13 years with the guy. He did a lot of great things for me, said things to me, talked to me when I needed it and all that stuff, and taught me too. But So I feel bad, and I hope somehow, honestly, I just hope when the year's over, I hope he decides to do something else because, man, it's almost impossible to watch the games. It's that bad.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm sure you've been asked this before because on the speaker circuit, the Giants have had a really bad 10-year run. New York sports right now is a bit of a hazmat spill. Yeah, it's bad. And you can always point fingers. The Yankees have been very patient, and they've had some success. If I pointed to you and said, okay, give me a paragraph on what's gone wrong with the Giants, coaches, quarterbacks, GMs, ownership, because listen, when I worked at the other place, I always said they were the accounting firm of the NFL. They were quiet. They didn't make a lot of noise. They were well run. They were never flashy, but you knew the numbers were right. They were smart. Something has gone haywire because I always thought the Jets were squirrely, but the Giants were big blue. They would figure it out. Phil, it has been a rough stretch. Where do you point the fingers?
Well, you always start with this, player acquisitions. The draft, you hope it goes well. There's so much into it. And, I don't know how these guys have great drafts sometimes because you just never know about players, even though you do all the research. But the draft hasn't been great. But these last couple of years, the guys that they've been drafting, they're playing and actually doing pretty well. So I really don't have an answer for that, why it's not going well. But I do look at other teams. They're having success. And what they have is just a group of stars that are all in, and they're connected to the coach, and it's hard and tough, and that's who they are. That'll never go away from football. And if you want to win, you got to be physical, you got to be tough, and you got to be smart. And I'm not saying the Giants aren't that, but maybe the personnel has not given them that chance. So I'm going to go to the game tonight, and I think they'll play the Philadelphia Eagles close. And I won't walk out of the stadium shocked if they win, but I'll be happy because I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to root for the Giants.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Every year I see the draft, all this. I go to training camp and I go, this might be the year. This is the year. And with Malik Neighbors and, of course, the quarterback and everything I was watching, the pass rush, I said, man, they got a chance. And they've had two chances, and they lost both of those games, Dallas and down in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That changes your year, Colin. I mean, just think if they'd have beat Dallas in overtime or beat New Orleans, all of a sudden we'd be going, hey, look, Phil, what about the Giants, man? They might be in the playoffs. That's how close it is, I think, in the NFL.
This just popped into my head. You're covering some college football now, Simms Complete on the Believe Network. So we'll wrap it up with this. Your son played at Texas. And I've said this before, of the 5 toughest jobs in all of sports in America, quarterback of the Texas Longhorns is near the top of that list. It is insane pressure. The donors, the coaching, the culture. It's almost got an NFL feel in terms of it's in a cool city. There's a lot of business. There's a lot of money. It's not your typical rural college where you get a friendly media and everybody's on. Texas football is big. It's bigger than a lot of NFL programs, right? Yeah. It's bigger than Jaguars football in Jacksonville. Your son played there. Arch Manning is really struggling. Take me to the pressure your son felt, and that it's just not another college quarterback job at Texas. It feels almost professional.
Yeah, I don't know if I could even answer that question about my son. We never talked about how you're feeling and all that. And, I would always gave words of encouragement. And I not to get off target here, but I always say to parents of quarterbacks that are coming up through high school that are really good and in the pros, I say to them, stay with them. Be in contact with them as much as you can to help them through all the hardships that are going to come. Because if you don't, it's just not going to work out well. And I'm not sitting here going to confession, but, I didn't make that connection with my kids as much as I should have. I should have been on top of it more. And, I always say this too. They're 18-year-olds coming out of high school. What the hell do they know? They don't know much of nothing.
Right.
And so I should have been there as the parent to give them more information. But with Arch Manning, I'll say this. I studied him during the offseason. I loved it, everything about him. And what I'm seeing now, I was like, wow, I did not see any of this last year. But I would boil it down to this: just try to relax, whatever it is. But his throwing is what has caught my attention.
Yeah,
it just hasn't been on target. He rushes throws. His motion looks like it's changed from what I saw last year, and I think that's part of the problem. When you throw the ball well and you know where it's going to go, you don't become a good decision maker. You become great. You see it, you believe it, you complete it, and let's move on. And right now, I just see doubt sometimes in Arch Manning when he's throwing the football that he's like, oh, I want to complete it. You know, when you want to complete them too bad, it usually doesn't work. So we'll see. You know, more experience. I will say he'll kind of fix this and look a lot better as the year goes along.
Phil, as always, we talk about once every couple of years. I always loved chatting with you. Great wisdom, and you look fantastic. I'm not going to say your age. People can Google it, but you look really good.
Well, hell, all right. Well, my wife never tells me that.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Yeah, maybe she should.
Hey, you know, listen, I'm looking for interviews, so bring me on every once in a while. You know, I'd like to beat it up, you know. And
all right.
This will be the last thing I say real quick. The quarterbacks, I know you like the guy at Oregon, and you know what? You should.
Yes.
He's really good.
Yes.
And Oregon, if you want to be a good quarterback, go up there and get taught and run that offense. You'll do well. But what's coming into the draft this year, it's probably going to be real. There's going to be a lot of them. But you know what's coming in the following year behind them is another damn group. So this quarterback situation, there's enough quarterbacks to go around for this whole league. The big thing is, can we get coaches to create a scheme to lead the team to let these quarterbacks show who they are? I mean, what happened? All of a sudden, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold are stars when we watch them. And they were thrown to the sidewalk a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That team from Canada, Canada, has eliminated your New York Yankees, and it was in fairly dominating fashion. And I know it's painful.
2-1, and then the error, you know, like, come on, it was close. I don't know, dominant. Come on.
Let's have a harsh talk. I'll be a therapist for the New York Yankees. Let's all sit down, take a deep breath, and admit the Yankees just aren't that good. They're good. They're not that good. Think about this. I looked it up this morning. If you take out the American League Central in the playoffs since 2009, the last World Series, the Yankees are 3-10 against every other division in the playoffs. 3-10. Yeah, they're great against the middling payroll American League Central since that time, 8-2. Aaron Judge is great. Garrett Cole and Max Fried, if they're healthy, what a 1-2 punch. I like Jazz Chisholm. I like him, don't love him. But they just got out-hit by Toronto. 50 hits to 34. And the Jays are the better fielding team. They strike out less. They get more hits, more contact hitters. They create more action. You know, the Yankees feel like an unbalanced diet. Too much protein, not enough green. Like all those weirdos on TikTok selling you and lecturing you on the carnivore diet. Hey, champ, mix in a carrot. The Yankees are completely beholden, this team is, once Garrett Cole got hurt, to home runs. Yeah, Stanton had 7 last year in the playoffs. This year had none. It's a totally unbalanced baseball team. And so Aaron Judge is great, but last year it was all on Garrett Cole. When you took Garrett Cole out against the Dodgers, they looked like one of those American League Central teams against the Dodgers. This year it's all on Aaron Judge because you don't have Cole. And again, you needed Stanton and Judge to both be great. Aaron was. Giancarlo Stanton, where's the deep ball? So, if you want to talk about balance, and you can hit home runs and pay a lot of money and have balance, the Dodgers last year, Ohtani had a historic regular season, carried the Dodgers. And then Tommy Edman, National League Championship Series, MVP. And the World Series, it was Freddie Freeman. That's balance. Yankees have none. It's just completely unbalanced. And here's the other thing. This is probably the last run with these guys. It should be. Aaron Judge next year is going to be 34 in the season. Stanton's going to be 35. Garrett Cole's going to be 35 off an injury. So they need to get younger. They need to get more athletic, and they need to turn radio off. It's not a coincidence that Seattle and Milwaukee and a lot of these media markets are really good right now. They don't react to the noise outside the building. I mean, you take out, since they last won a World Series in 2009, they do not beat top-tier franchises. They beat the American League Central in the playoffs. 8-2. They're great against the Central. But those teams don't have any money. The Dodgers spend it, but spend it smarter. The Cubs are spending it smarter. They're just running into Milwaukee. So it's a little bit like the Pittsburgh Steelers. The brand is big. They do a lot of things well. They draft pretty well. But, the Steelers, when do they beat elite quarterbacks in the playoffs? They don't. 10 years, they don't. When do the Yankees beat good franchises in the playoffs? They're 0-4 against the Astros. Astros just fell apart this year physically. But again, who are you beating? Like the Dodgers have their hands full with the Phillies. The Phillies are great. My guess is the Dodgers probably figure out a way to win one of the next 2 games. But the Phillies are great, and the Dodgers are great, and Milwaukee is really, really good. Toronto's excellent. They do a lot of things well. What do the Yankees do well? So, I mean, this is Aaron Judge on this. Their stars are old. Garrett Cole, Stanton, Aaron Judge. I mean, you got to start moving some pieces, do you not? Here's Aaron after.
I think once again it comes down to the little things, making the little plays, come with the big hit. If you don't do that, give teams extra outs, they're going to capitalize on it. For us, we got to clean a couple things up, and we'll be right back here.
The other thing is it's like an annual tradition. It is so predictable. Is that, the Giants and the Jets and the Knicks and the Nets and the Mets, they're always just moving pieces left and right and firing GMs and firing coaches. And the knock in New York is they're too patient. Brian Cashman, need to relieve him. Why don't they have more good players? Well, analytics in baseball, the guys upstairs are making a lot of the calls, so let's blame the manager. But the truth is, Aaron Boone, I don't know how much power he has. I mean, I'm listening to Derek Jeter after that loss last night talk about the current state of the New York Yankees and Aaron Boone, and I think there is a lot of truth in what Derek Jeter said.
What's tough is for the Yankee fans, right? This is the second year in a row that they've watched another team celebrate on their home field. And you can feel the frustration. Aaron did a good job. I mean, look, he's working with what he has to work with, and he sticks up for his players. I know he takes a lot of heat, but look, I'm not saying it from any inside knowledge, but I'm pretty sure Aaron's not the one that's calling every move that they make throughout the game.
Go look at the salaries of Major League Baseball managers. They make about half of what a college football coach makes. There's a reason. They've been marginalized. They don't matter, right? So they have to be pro player to keep their jobs. You don't want to disrupt the locker room. Players have never made more money, 3, 4, 500 million. So you can blame Aaron Boone. But I look at this team and I just see an unbalanced diet. Not enough greens. Home run dependent. Last year, Garrett Cole dependent. The truth is, when Garrett Cole got hurt before the season, I think we talked about it on the show, you're not a World Series team. But it's more than that. It's the average base running. They're not athletic enough. They're not a great fielding team. They don't sacrifice. They strike out too much. Let's be honest, Toronto dominated them. The Toronto Blue Jays weren't just better than the Yankees. They are a lot better than the Yankees. They don't strike out as much. More contact guys. They get on base more. And their pitching was better. Phillies at Dodger Stadium hammered the Dodgers last night. Listen, they won 96 games. The Phillies are really good. Second best in baseball. You got Bryce Harper. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Kyle Schwarber, who is just money. Great power hitter, always good in the playoffs. And then Trey Turner. Excellent starting staff. Top 10 team ERA. So they were going to bust out. And Kyle Schwarber took out his frustration. So in the first 2 games, the Phillies, which have power and they get on base, a lot of hits, batted .203. They are much closer to what you watched last night. Schwarber, big-time power hitter, delivers in the playoffs. Trey Turner's your batting champ in the National League. Bryce Harper is Bryce Harper, first ballot Hall of Famer. So the team you saw last night from Philadelphia, that's closer to the team. And tonight they've got their best pitcher, Christopher Sanchez. One of their aces is going. So we have ourselves a series. And the Dodgers also didn't get anything near the top of the order. Between Teoscar Hernandez and Ohtani and Freddie Freeman, they went 0 for 12. That can't happen. But when you watch that game last night, the Phillies do that a lot to a lot of teams. And you got a 50-plus home run guy and a National League batting champ and a great team ERA, and then Bryce Harper adds in a couple of hits. That's what they looked like all year. I thought Philadelphia would win this series because I didn't think the 8th inning last night is what I thought we would see a lot of in this series. A little bit of batting practice, the elite hitting, especially at the top of the order against the Dodger bullpen. So it's a real series now. The Dodgers have more overall talent, but Philadelphia can punish you in a lot of ways, and they get good starting pitching. Bullpen can be susceptible. Welcome to the sport outside of a few teams like Milwaukee. But I think we have a series, and Kyle Schwarber hit a couple of them, and that's what he does.